Hello guys, it's Chris here. So this will be the second part of series How to Winter Camp, and in this episode I'm going to talk about ground sleeping in the winter. Do everything on your own risk. I'm not a professional, okay? I'm not an expert. At the moment it's minus 17 degrees Celsius, so it's quite difficult to film. All my electronics are here, see? That's not my belly, that's my electronics and filming stuff. Wow. Oh. So in this video I'm going to talk with you about winter gear for ground sleeping. Okay, I think good idea is to start to talk about things from the bottom to top. So the first thing I'm suggesting to use on the snow or on the frozen lake, whatever, is to use a ground sheet. Yeah, it helps with the condensation. It will create some floor if you are using some tarp or some other shelter. Also, it protects the bottom of your tent, of course. So you can go as cheap as using Tyvek. So this is fabric you can buy in Home Depot. This is for construction work. This thing is very light and it works perfectly. So in winter also it has very nice color, but I don't like to use it in summer because it looks a bit silly. Okay, but this is the cheapest and the lightest version, of course. So, and also you can buy something like this, maybe some ripstop, some nylon or some other materials. Actually, these are cheap. I think this was, I don't remember, something like 14 euros or something, and this was maybe 8 or 10, something like that. So, what's the ground sheet? The ground sheet is basically just a piece of material you cover on the ground. Like I said, it acts as extra barrier between you and the ground. So, for the tents, it's very nice. I encountered that many times when I'm taking down my tent. I can see on the bottom that there is condensation on the outside of my tent. So it's not on the inside. So this helps with the condensation. It creates a floor and also it protects your shelter. So the next one. It is very good idea to use some reflective pad like this. I'm not saying I'm using it all the time. I'm using it only in some extreme temperatures like now, minus 17, minus 20, minus 27, something like that. But as you as a beginner and you want more confidence, just get this one. So, it is basically a reflective foam. Oh my god. And my suggestions is to get a double-sided. Okay. So actually, if you have this one, you can also skip this step, but in my opinion, more layers you have, then better. But keep in mind, if you still feel cold, it's good idea to put this reflective foam between you and the sleeping pad, so closer to you, because it will reflect your own heat back to you. So, but in my opinion, when I tried this one, it works, but it's very slippery. If the ground is not on a level, you will slide down like crazy with your sleeping bag or something. So I like to use this one on the ground, under everything, like a first layer. Or the second if you are using ground sheet. Okay, next. It is very good idea to use a foam pad. So get yourself some foam pad. It doesn't matter what kind of it. It's very easy to use, this zigzag style, but it also could be just a simple foam pad in a roll, like this mattress, for example. But don't get me wrong, this mattress packs down half of its size. So there's also many options on the market. You can find foam pads with a reflective film like this on one side, maybe on both sides. Yeah, just get one, because this is your backup. Because if your mattress fails, deflates, broken, or not enough R value for it, this can save your life. Yeah? And for me personally, I'm a bit naughty. I'm taking this only when temperature is lower than minus 5 degrees Celsius. Down to minus 5 degrees Celsius, I'm just using this pad. because actually I've been sleeping on this mattress when it's completely deflated in a -5 degrees Celsius in a tent in a forest. So, and I was cold all night, of course, but I survived. It wasn't like crazy. It was quite cold actually, yeah. To be honest. But yeah, for me, so this is quite huge package, yeah. So, but I'm suggesting to use every time some foam pad. That's your backup. But of course, this pad is good maybe to +5 degrees Celsius, the comfort rating for this one. But anyway, this is much better to sleep on this like it's on the ice or snow if your mattress fails, okay? So the next thing, of course, is mattress. So you need to get yourself some insulated mattress. So this is with the R value of 4.2, and I tried it many times and it's good down to -12 degrees Celsius. At those temperatures, I started to feel some cold. So, but keep in mind that you cannot use just a summer mattress because it's without insulation. It will be filled up with the cold air. For example, now air is -17 degrees Celsius. And imagine that air inside your mattress is the same as you're sleeping on an ice cube or something. It doesn't matter. So get yourself some insulated mattress and you need to look R value around 4.2 and higher. So R value 6 or 7 or 9, awesome. The higher number, the better. But in my case, I have only this one. This is 4.2 and this is not for extreme temperatures. So it's only -12 degrees Celsius, but it's also, in my opinion, extreme temperature. Okay. And also, don't forget some other foams because you need to sit on something like I'm now putting my knees on it. This also can save your life, okay? This is awesome thing. Super cheap, just a few euros. This thing is super light too, you see? Okay. Oh. Wow. And I want to mention that you can stack your mattresses, you can stack your foam with the mattress and get more R value, of course. So R value for this one, like I said, is 4.2 and R value for this one is 1.7 if I remember it correctly. So if you put them together, the R value adds up. So basically with this system now I can camp, I believe, down to -30. Okay, now we talked about the ground. I'm gonna demonstrate quickly how it looks. So, use your ground sheet, but of course before make sure there is not sharp things. I know in the winter, like here, there is some sharp pieces of ice or something, but just be mindful what are you doing. Don't puncture your gear, okay? Like you see now, it has very nice platform now. For example, if you are using some tarp, maybe some poncho or some shelter without floor, now you have a floor. It's awesome. Okay, for the next, if you have this, put this one. But like I said before, if you still feel cold, put this between you and the sleeping mat. If you don't have this one, don't worry, just skip this step and put a foam pad, okay? I hope my camera will not die now. When I will finish this episode about these ground things, I'm going to heat it up in my jacket. Wow. So if the temperature tonight will be again the same, I will be back here to test my one wind down under quilt when hammock camping. Yeah, I'm a crazy guy, I know. So, next thing is this foam pad. As you can see, it's super easy to use these zigzag style pads. And in extreme temperatures, that's very useful because you have no much time, you need to act fast. My fingers are freezing and I need to tie something now. No way I'm gonna do that. Okay, and the last is this mattress. So this is self-inflatable mattress. It will self-inflate about 80% and the rest with your breath. But I'm suggesting to use a tiny pump and then finish with your breath, because tiny pump and also those pumping pillows, in my experience, are too weak. You need to make sure that your mattress is pumped very hard, because otherwise R value will be much lower then. But if you don't have tiny pump, of course, use your breath. But breath contains some moisture and it also will reduce the R value of your sleeping mat. So, okay, the first part about ground sleeping is over. Now let's talk about sleeping bags and quilts. Look how many gear I have with me today. That's all just for you. So the sun is coming up and now it's getting a bit warmer. So now temperature is only minus 12.29 degrees Celsius. It's a bit better, like minus 17 for filming, of course. But for extreme camping, as it is for me, I like better minus 17. The lower it is, then better for me. I already set up my sleeping bags and top quilts, so let's talk about them now. Of course, for sleeping, it's better to have a proper sleeping bag or quilt, and always check for comfort limit temperature. It doesn't matter those super extreme temperatures that are written on them, because those are only for survival, so you are not going to die. So that's it. So look for comfort limit temperature. So this is proper winter sleeping bag. This is synthetic, it's quite bulky, quite heavy, but it has very thick and solid insulation. I very love this one. This is meant for base camps, actually, not for hiking or backpacking. But I still use it in 5-kilometer hikes, no problem. You also need to think about insulation. Is it synthetic or is it down? Down will be much more expensive. Down will be much smaller in the size and much lighter. I would say it will be 2 to 2.5 times smaller and lighter as its same rating for synthetic one. But every gear has its place in a camping. Maybe it's your budget, maybe your preferences. Okay, because these are all synthetic. Okay, synthetic better deals with the moisture. If they are damp, they still will work. Not 100%, but they will still keep you warm. As it goes for down, it's useless when wet. For example, this sleeping bag has a very thick and solid insulation. I've tried it many times in a hammock and I found out if I'm using some other synthetic insulation that it's very fluffy. When you compress it, when lying on it, it will not heat your back. It goes the same for this one, but this, as I said, it's very thick. It compresses and it still leaves some gap between you and the ground. You still can feel it. It's the point I want to say, that there are some synthetics that when you are sleeping on them, they still work a little bit. But as you maybe already know, some people like sleeping bags, some like quilts. Quilts are lighter, without hoodie and without back, because eventually when you are sleeping on the ground, mattress and everything that's on the ground are keeping your back warm, not your sleeping bag or quilt. So that's why many people like quilts over the sleeping bags. But in my opinion, in a sleeping bag, you have enclosed environment, there is more chance that the warm air will be trapped inside longer. And actually they are more efficient in my opinion. But they are heavier because they are zippers, hoodies, back. So you decide. Everything works. You can use quilts and you can use sleeping bags. But in my opinion, superior is sleeping bag in super extreme conditions, because you have your hoodie, you are fully enclosed and so on. So I'm not bothering to carry those maybe 300 grams more. So everything works. People are different, preferences are different. Okay, enough talking. Let's talk about the deal. Let's talk about sleeping bags, okay? So this is real winter sleeping bag. This is from Snackpack, Sleeper Expedition. And the comfort limit for this is minus 12 degrees Celsius. And the low temperature is minus 17 degrees Celsius. But like I said, don't look at those low or extreme temperature. Just look for comfort limit temperature. That's the real temperature. So in this sleeping bag in minus 12 degrees Celsius, you will start to feel cold. Maybe even in minus 11. It depends on the moisture in the air. Did you eat well? Did you feel well? And so on. Is there some breeze of cold wind or something? This is very nice. I very love it. Except this particular model has a terrible zipper and terrible cinch cords. I upgraded the cinch cords because those just broke when it was minus 12 degrees Celsius in the hammock, and I've been closing manually like this all night. Okay, that's not cool. And zipper I need to change to the big tractor military zipper with a quick release. If you are asking what's quick release, it's actually very crucial. It's your safety. For example, when you close your sleeping bag, you are sleeping, maybe some avalanche is coming, you know, you need to fast run from that side. You just tear it open like this and it opens very easy and you run. With this one, no chance. At the moment, this snags so hard. The last 3 times I was using, I barely could get out of it. It was minus 12 degrees Celsius in a hammock when I tried to open. Oh my god, my fingers are hurting and I cannot open it. It's snagging all the time. No. I need to upgrade. After upgrade, I will love it. Okay, now I kind of love it, but you know. So the point I want to say, maybe you don't have winter sleeping bag. Maybe you are on a budget. You only have your summer sleeping bag, maybe autumn sleeping bag. So that's not a problem. Because the good thing is you can stack them together, no problem. The R value of those sleeping bags will add up. So I'm going to tell you a formula you can use to calculate your comfort rating if you are adding 2 quilts or sleeping bags together. So it goes like this. You take comfort limit of the one sleeping bag. In this case, this is 7 degrees Celsius. Then you add comfort limit of the second sleeping bag. In this case, this is plus 3 degrees Celsius. So 7 plus 3. Then minus temperature you are most comfortable without moving. So I would say it's 25 degrees Celsius. So minus 25. And then you add for every reason number 7. I don't know what that number is, but just do that. And in total you get minus 8 degrees Celsius. So it means I can use my summer sleeping bag combining with a autumn sleeping bag down to minus 8 degrees Celsius. No problem. And I found that this formula is quite accurate. Of course, it depends from one person to other. And also, I want to mention about combining 2 sleeping bags. Make sure that outer layer is not compressing the inner layer. So use the bigger sleeping bag or quilt on the outside. Like for example, I was using these 2 bad boys in minus 23 degrees Celsius. This one is an autumn sleeping bag, Snackpack Nautilus, and it is envelope style. So it's like a big rectangular. And this one is mummy style. So I have placed this envelope from the outside. And it created very nice system for me. And it works as a charm. So the point I want to say, you don't need to spend a lot of money for some super duper high-end winter sleeping bag. Especially if you are a beginner or on a budget. Just use what you already have. And of course, you can bring some wool blanket, maybe some fleece blanket from your home and just cover everything from the top like that. No problem, it will add even more R value to your system. So, wait a little bit. Remember in the first part I told you the technique if your fingers are freezing, you swing your arms very hard. It's very nice technique. You can feel the warm blood flow into your fingers. And of course, you can use 3 sleeping bags and so on, but keep in mind, don't compress your insulation, because that puffiness is that what makes you feel warm. And also, if you are mixing some synthetics with down, I think you should put down from the outside, because down, as you know, it's very puffy and it's very easy to compress. So better put tougher thing inside and fluffier thing from the outside. Just be creative. Look what works for you. Same goes for quilts. So one is 2 degrees. This is for autumn, spring, and this is 7 degrees. This is my summer top quilt. I like to use top quilts in the hammocks because it's very easy and practical for hammocks. I also use them on the ground, but I found out, especially when temperature is low, I better use some sleeping bag, because I like that extra protection for my back and hoodie. Okay? But for hammocks, wow, these are nice. But in super duper extreme temperature, I would rather use this one. So, this is fleece liner, okay? This is envelope style, and this is nice add to your system. This goes like a first layer inside. There are many fabrics for liners. Some are silk, some wool, some fleece, some other materials maybe. I like to use fleece because it's, in my opinion, the most suitable for winter. This thing actually adds up to 5 degrees Celsius to your system. If based on my tests, it adds about 5 degrees Celsius in spring and autumn, and when it's winter, extreme temperature, it adds only 3 degrees. Maybe your sleeping bag is maxing out already. If you don't have this one, you're gonna be cold. But if you have it, you're gonna feel more comfortable because it's very nice on the skin and toasty warm. So, when I'm going winter camping, I'm almost always use this one. So these 3 things I call Trinity. And this setup I was using down to minus 27 degrees Celsius in a hammock. And if you guys want to see that video, check it over here. Oh. And remember, drink hot drinks all day long, okay? Oh. Stay hydrated and warm from the inside. I actually gonna put this pad under my feet because I start feeling cold on my feet, and that big foam under my knees. Remember the last episode I told you, if you are standing in one place, use this under your boots, okay? That's much better. And the last thing about your sleeping bags and quilts is this bad boy. This is Bivy bag. I would say this thing is crucial to using in a winter, because with this thing you can actually just sleep like over there on the frozen ice without any shelter. So this is your shelter. This is bag that goes over all your sleeping bags and quilts, like outer layer. The condensation will be on the inside of this material, not on your sleeping bag. That's a good thing. It collects condensation to itself. Bivy bag will block wind, totally block it. So it is your shelter, and actually you will feel a lot warmer because now you are inside very small space. You heat up it very fast and you will feel very nice and toasty. Probably not. Do everything on your own risk. I'm not a professional, okay? I'm not an expert. Maybe I am. I don't know. I don't have any paper that proves that, okay? But use Bivy bag. Wow. It doesn't matter. Are you in a tent, under tarp, or just inside it on a field? It is much safer with this. If something happens, maybe your tarp flies away in a strong wind, or maybe start pouring some rain with the snow, everything is wet, but you're gonna be safe and sound in this Bivy bag. In this case, I'm using Snackpack Bivy bag. But Bivys are different. They are different materials. Some made from Gore-Tex, some from some nylons. What's the materials? So they are different materials. Some with the zippers, some without. They are also hooped Bivys with a frame. I like this because it's very small, as you can see. And this thing is awesome. In a short, it goes like this. So inside layer is your liner, if you have one. I'm not going to open to show you. It's very cold, and then will be a big mess with the 6 open sleeping bags and quilts, and then I need to dry them at home. It will be mess. I will just tell you, okay? So this is your first layer inside. Then the next layer is of course sleeping bag. And if you don't have any winter sleeping bag, like I said, just double up your existing sleeping bags or quilts. And the last layer from the outside is Bivy bag. Wow, with that one you can sleep just over there on the frozen lake. And if you don't believe me, just look at this picture. Yeah, that's me just a few days ago. And I was toasty warm, and it was -5 degrees Celsius. Okay, we talked about ground level, we talked about sleeping bags and quilts and liners and bivvies. So now let's talk about shelters. Okay, as you can see, these are all kinds of different shelters. So there are 4-season tents, and other ones are not meant to be used in winter. That's silly. Okay, this over here is a proper 4-season tent. With the 4-season tent, you would be safer and warmer, because 4-season tents are made to take a lot of load. Heavy snow, storms. Also 4-season tents have ability to close all vents. Also some of them have a snow skirt around. That's a small piece of fabric that goes alongside all the tent on the bottom. And for example, if snowstorm is coming to one side, you just pull down your snow skirts, put some snow on it, and you will be protected from that side. But as it goes for snow skirts, as much as possible, use your shelter with all open vents. I would say even with open doors it would be better, because condensation is not your friend. And if you close all the skirts on this tent, it will be very bad with condensation then. Basically close that side or 2 sides where the wind is coming from in extreme temperatures. Also, these 4-season tents, it doesn't mean you can use it in 4 seasons. Of course you can. I was using it. I bought this tent maybe, I don't know, 17 years ago or something. And I bought it as just a tent, you know. I was using it in summer. Oh my god, in the mornings when sun is coming, it was like sauna inside or something. Because inner tent of these 4-season tents made from solid fabric, not from the mesh. So you're gonna be warmer in this tent, because 3-season tents or other tents with a mesh inner part, they are not keeping so much warm inside as this one. But as you can see, for example, this particular is quite bulky and heavy. It's 3.5 kilograms. Wow. But if there would be some snowstorm or maybe some survival in some expedition in mountains, I would use this tent, because you can trust this one. I know some people will say these other tents are not supposed to be used in winter, you cannot use them or something. That's all BS. You can use any shelter you have. Come on, I was using... Wait. I forgot about Bivy. That's also shelter, okay? So if you can sleep in the winter in this, so look again on my pictures. Yeah, if you can sleep in this, then you can sleep in anything, okay? I know somebody even using Bivys in the mountains, in a super extreme temperatures too. So it is possible. Just 4-season tents are made like a tanks, you know. There are many features. For example, this one is in red color. So it's easier for rescue team to see you. It's easier for you to find your shelter in a snowstorm and so on. They are durable poles, strong materials, strong connection points. The inner part is made from full fabric. It has a snow skirt and so on. This is like a tank with the maximum comfort, of course. But comfort is very relative. I was super comfortable just under the poncho or in this Bivy bag. Wow. So this is La Fuma Manta 2. You cannot buy it no more, I think. It's old tent, but still looking good. Actually, my plan for today was to set up all these tents. But I changed my mind when I came here. It's too cold. No, it will be just a half day of setting up all this thing. I'm anyway showing these shelters on the screen from the different occasions, so it's still good in that way, I think. Okay, so Snackpack Ionosphere tent. This meant to be summer tent, 3-season, something like that, because inner tent it's fully made from mesh. But come on, I was using this tent in minus 23 degrees Celsius. Check this video over here. Only thing about these other tents, like these ones for example, they have some panels on the bottom where the cold air can hit inside. If that happens, close them or block them with some clothes from the inside. Okay? So these two are double wall tents, and this one is halfway double wall and halfway single wall, and this one is single wall Bivy tent from One Wind. So same story. So let's talk about this one. This is new product from One Wind and it's called Skyshade Tar Tent. I have my opinion about it. I think it should be upgraded a lot, and if you guys want to see that review, just check video over here. It's a single wall on a head end and double wall from the chest down to your feet. So you still can use this in winter, no problem. This particular will not stand some strong winds from the front. Head end is okay, but the front end, not good construction on the other end. I hope One Wind will upgrade it to be a very nice tent. So there is no problem for using this in winter. It depends of your needs, of your circumstances, of your conditions, maybe some mountains or something. For mountains, maybe you better choose something safer. But as I know, some people, like I said, in the mountains using Bivy bags or tarps. So you decide, they all work. So let's talk about this one. So this is Bivy tent from One Wind. I love this shelter, but it has a very big panel along all the way on the bottom of this tent. And the cold air is coming and it's so-so. But like I said, if you are using Bivy bag inside a tent, that's not a problem. Like I said before, it is much better if your tent has all vents open, because it will deal much better with condensation. And this one is single wall, so all the condensation will be from the inside on the wall of this tent. So if you will touch the walls, the snow will fall on you. So you will have snowfall inside your tent. But that doesn't matter, because there are some winter tents like a single wall. So you need to decide if you want single wall or double wall. With a double wall, it will be a little bit warmer and it better deals with condensation. It will be dry inside or almost dry. But with a single wall, it is much lighter. So I do not mind to use single wall, double wall, whatever, poncho, anything. I like to change. I love them all. So you decide what do you want. So my point is, if you have a summer tent, just use it in winter, no problem. But good idea is to use a Bivy bag and everything should be fine. Even without Bivy bag. If your inner part all is made from mesh, that's not a problem. Mesh also traps heat inside, quite well actually. I tried it many times in a hammock when sleeping without mesh and with a mesh. With a mesh, it's a lot warmer. Believe me, that mesh is trapping more heat inside, but still breathable. So, many possibilities. So, next, let's talk about tarps. This is 3x3 meter tarp from Snackpack. This is all-weather shelter G2. You can make any configuration you want, just any. It depends of situation. If there is wind, make something with low profile. If there is not wind, you can make just a lean-to and make a fire on the front or something. You can definitely use tarp in winter. If you want fully enclosed shelter, just make a pyramid. It's no problem. But my favorite is cave. I was using it in a -8 or -5, I don't remember. It was very nice. I love using tarps in winter too. And actually, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but when I sleep in a tarp or under some poncho, where's the in halfway open configuration, I feel better and warmer as inside the tent. Yeah, like I said, maybe because of the fresh air and condensation. I also sleep very warm just in a Bivy bag. You know, in a tent you are creating humid air inside. In a halfway open configuration, that air is escaping. That's the physics, I don't know. But a very nice thing was, I remember the day was -7 degrees or -5 outside in the morning. I was outside my tarp drinking some tea or something, and I had my thermometer inside under this tarp, and the temperature was +1 degree Celsius or something. Wow! And it was after 1 hour, I'm not inside the shelter. I believe my sleeping bag was radiating some heat and it still was +1 inside. Can you imagine? All front is open, so don't be scared to use some tarps or ponchos in winter. But of course, if you are beginner, maybe start with a tent. And especially with the 4-season tent, you will feel more confident. If you don't have any, just use your summer tent, whatever. Double wall, single wall, or hybrid wall, whatever. All them work, also the tarp. So, this one. This is actually shower shelter from One Wind. Yeah, you can make a shower like in this picture. See? It's like a changing room, toilet, shower, whatever. And also you can make surviving shelters, like with a 1 tracking pole or 2 tracking poles or some other variations. So actually this is my favorite tarp for winter, because this is like this tarp cut in half. So if I'm alone under the tarp, I will choose this one, because this is extra weight. This I would use if I want to make some tarp tent, maybe some pyramid, or maybe cave when using 2 or 3 people inside, then I will use this one. But if I want a quick shelter, I would take this. Look, this is super tiny, super compact, very nice. And as you can see in this footage, it is completely normal to use it in winter. My tea is getting cold very fast. I need to drink it faster. Okay, next. This actually is a poncho. Yeah, you can use also poncho. Why not? If you can use a Bivy bag or shower shelter or tarp, why there's any problem to use poncho? So this particular is from One Wind, and this is solidary shelter. Actually you can make a shelter from it. It's specially made for that. You can choose yourself. Use it as a poncho or as a shelter, and you can double them up to use a double shelter, and you can use these 2 ponchos combined with the shower shelter and get space for 3 or even more people under them. So yeah, so these are very versatile products from One Wind. I love them. So the next, this is also tarp. So the difference between this tarp and that one, this one is square tarp, 3x3 meters, and this one is rectangular tarp, and this is, I believe, 3x4 meters, something like that. With this tarp, when you're using it with the hammock or the same configuration just for the ground sleeping, you can make shelter with the doors. So also possible to use in any condition. If it's super strong wind, you can lower down your tarp to the ground. You can basically stake it down flat, maybe put some stick on one end or backpack, not facing the wind of course. It will be flat, and if super strong wind is coming, you will be fine. If it's too much snow, it also same for any tent. You just use your hand and just shake down the snow from the inside, like okay, so let's talk about winter, how you will stake down your shelters. So if the ground is not hard, you can still use your basic tent stakes, okay, like these ones. But it works only if ground is soft. And of course, if talking about weight of your shelter, if you need something really lightweight, just go for Dyneema. You can get some Dyneema tarp or some Dyneema tent or single wall Dyneema tent. It will be the lightest you can get. But that stuff is very expensive. About same tarp like this one, but made from Dyneema, will cost you around $400 or even $600 or something. So yeah. If you can buy this one only for 70 euros. So now I will give you one tip. If ground is very hard, I'm suggesting you to go to Home Depot and buy some screws like this. So these are some wood screws. Oh my god, they are so cold. Wow. So also when you're handling them inside your backpack, maybe make something like this. This is made from shampoo bottle from the hotel. This is for protecting your gear from these sharp screws. They are really sharp. So something like this. And I'm suggesting to use the wrench like this. Okay? It is super easy to use, very comfortable. So I put them all together like this. And then I tie them together. Okay? And then I'm using very thick stuff sack. So that's it, ready. I had some experiences in the past when ground was hard and I was there without these ones. So just keep in mind that ground could be very hard. So get yourself some nice screws like these to be able to stake down your tents or tarps or whatever. Just this is cheap option to do it. And I actually never used these ones. I think this is more practical for some mountains where is very deep pack of snow. So you can use stakes like these. These are specially made for snow. There's two options you can use them. Just place them inside the snow like this and pack some snow. Maybe it will work. But the better way, you can use this stake, dig like a T shape, okay, in the snow. I will show you here, for example. You dig hole like this in the snow and also like this. So it looks like T. And then you need to attach a guy line in the middle like this. So you place it down like this, put a rope through, place some snow and pack it down hardly. Believe me, after a few hours or so, it will be very hard. And this will act as an anchor. But like I said, I never use these ones. Because in the places I'm camping, the snow is maximum this deep. So it's not a problem. I just shovel down the snow, get to the ground and use my screws for that. But keep in mind, these screws are quite heavy. This package, come on, it is heavy. But this is winter. You need to make sure you can pack down your shelter. So, we talked about ground level, we talked about sleeping bags and quilts, also about shelters and also how to pack them down. And on the first episode, we talked about confidence, about planning, about clothes, about keeping you warm. So always good idea is to use some hand warmers, maybe put some hot water in a bottle inside your sleeping bag and so on. There are many ways to keep you warm. So if you want to see the first episode, check video over here. So look, so beautiful. 2 days ago, I was sleeping over there somewhere on the frozen lake, just in a bivy. No shelter. Of course, I was using foam pad, sleeping mat, and liner and sleeping bag. But yeah, no shelter, it is possible. And it was very pleasant and nice. Let me check the temperature right now. So, at the moment is minus 9.3 degrees Celsius. So guys, now you've seen 2 parts of how to winter camp videos and you are ready for ground sleeping in a winter. But if you are into hammocks, just check out 3rd part of this series. So, I hope you learned something from this video. Maybe it was entertaining. As usual, stay safe, leave no trace, be good to other people and get out to the nature. So see you on the next one. Peace!